Hi guys, welcome to the TechNet channel, and in this video we will install and go through the process to download VirtualBox and create a virtual machine and install Windows Server 2022. So let's start it with the Windows host. So we will download VirtualBox 7.0.8 Windows host, and as I have already installed, so I will cancel this, and I have already installed this, so you can install this one. And I have downloaded the Windows Server 2022 server as well. It is the ISO file by clicking from here, and I will provide this link in description as well, so you can install from there or download from there. So let's get started with the VirtualBox. So these are the steps that we will follow in our this tutorial. So then open the VirtualBox, and this is the VM that I have already created. And let's say I will delete this and we will create a new and fresh. So new virtual machine, I will give it as a name Windows Server 2022 DC as a domain controller. I have an ISO file downloaded, so I will assign ISO file as well, which is this one. I have downloaded this, so you can download this and assign this. Then so we will select skip unattended installation, so this will not ask for the username and password. Then we will go ahead, click next. RAM, I will select 4 GB, so 4096 is the 4 GB. I will include, I have 4 CPUs, so I will include 2 here in this one. Here, click next. 50 GB is fine because we will use this later on as a WDS and ADT deployment, and also we will keep it as a 50. Here, click next. Review the whole details and finish it. So once this is done, now ISO and everything is already installed. We have assigned to it, so we will see what's the storage, and everything is done. So that's it. Let's go ahead and install this one. So click on start. Our virtual machine is powering up. Now you can see it is loading up. Click next. Install now. I will select standard evaluation data experience because there's a graphical environment, so we will use this. Click next. I accept. Click next. Custom. So here we will create 2 partitions. So one partition I would I would need might be 35,000. So and I will go ahead and install in this one, and we will keep the second one there. So now our server is installed, and we will go ahead and create a password. So our password will finalize this server. So that's the local password on the server. In case if we forget a domain password, we would still be able to log in through a local password. So the first thing first, we will go and change computer name. So this PC, properties, and we will rename this PC as server, or we will say DC, domain controller, DC1, domain controller 1. Next, it will ask for restart, and once it is restarted, then the name will be changed. The next step would be we will create a domain and we will promote this server as a domain controller and create Active Directory roles. Okay, so now our server is fully restarted. So we can see the firewall is turned on and everything else looks okay. Computer is on computer group and updates are never, lastness are never. So I didn't install updates at all on this, and we don't need to install those. The first thing is we will change the IP address on the Ethernet before we install the rules. So click on Ethernet, properties. We will disable this Internet Protocol version IP6, and we will double click on TCP4 and use the following. So I will choose the address 172.20.20.5 and 255.255.255.0, and our default gateway is 172.20.20.1, and the DNS would be the same, 172.20.20.5, because this will be our same domain controller and the same PC, so that's why we are using the same address. Click OK, click OK. It will validate, and now we will go ahead and add role. So we will click on the manage, add roles and feature, click next, role based feature based installation, next, click next, and now we will install Active Directory domain services, add features, click next, next, and next, and install this. We just click this restart if it is required, so after installation, if it is required server to restart, so machine can restart it itself. So I have changed VirtualBox VM in a scale mode so you can see the better view, and you can see there's no menu appearing here. So if you need to get the menu here, you can right click on your keyboard on the laptop, press the control key and home, the menu will appear. So the control is on the right hand side and home. So you can see the menu is appearing here in VirtualBox. So now our server is fully installed. So we need to promote this server to a domain controller. So click next on promote domain controller, add new forest, because this is a brand new server. So we are not adding this to an existing domain or existing server. So we will call it as project.local. So now this will create a totally a new domain, And the global catalog and domain name system, the DNS server will be on the same server here as well. So just give a password. This is very important password. This you need to restore. Let's suppose if you forget all the password, you don't have access, you will need this account and this password to depromote or the promote the server on or even for recovery purposes as well. So this password is very important. And this is Windows Server 2016 is selected here because they don't have any updated, so it's the same functionality, that's why they didn't update to 2022. Let's go ahead and install next. Create, we don't need to create DNS delegation, just create next, hit next. The net BIOS name will appear automatically, we don't need to type it anything. So project is appeared automatically. Next. So now this will take few seconds and it will install the server and it will restart our server automatically, and then it will be on the domain. So waiting for DNS, and it is installing DNS as well. So now our server is restarted and it is applying domain controller policies and settings. So we are successfully now logging on our Windows Server 2022 domain controller. Now the first thing is we will change the IP address, the DNS IP address on the Ethernet controller. So you will notice one thing, that the system has changed to loop back address, but this system is the DNS system as well. So we will change this IP address to our host name. So 172.20.20.5 is our DNS settings on this one. Click OK and close. Now we will go to tools and we'll do the DNS configuration on the system. So forward record, we can see the already there is host name is already created there. Now we will go and see, check the reverse lookup zone. We will create now reverse lookup zone. So we will right click on reverse lookup zone, click on new zone, next primary zone. So we are going to create a primary zone and store the zone in Active Directory. Next, this is the predefined settings, so we will keep as it is. Next, and this will be IPv4 reverse lookup zone, and this will take 3 octets. So 3 octets are 172.20.20, and you can see it already put ARPA address on the reverse format. So 2020 172 and here is 172 2020. Do not allow dynamic updates. We are not allowing dynamic updates at all. Finish. And we can see our reverse lookup zone is already created and we can create a new pointer record for this. So 172.20.20 I can put a 5 here, but I don't want to put a 5 and I just fully qualify domain name as well. So click on below, browse and DNS and this our DC, and from forward lookup zone we will select a pointer record from the DC. So DC01 is our host which has a pointer record of 20.5. We will take this. Allow any unauthenticated users to update all DNS record with name the setting. Yes. We'll click allow. Okay. So now you can see this IP address is linked with this host name on project.local domain. So our reverse lookup zone is successfully created. In our next video, created. Now we will go ahead and create DHCP. So add roles and features. Next, next, next. And now we will add a role as a DHCP server. Add features. Next, next, next. Restart the destination server automatically if required. Install. So now our DHCP is installed. We have to complete DHCP configuration. So click on this. Let me bring this here. Next. So that's our administrator credentials. So we would like to use the same user as we are logged in and click commit. So this is successfully installed. Created security groups and authorizing DHCP server. So click close. Close. And now we will go ahead and create our DHCP server. So click on local server to see what's going on here. So it is on domain. We can see computer name is DC01. Ethernet is 172.20.20.5. In further videos, we will see NIC teaming. Remote management is already enabled. Remote desktop, we will enable this one as well. So allow. So if you are a fresher user, just to give you an overview of this remote desktop. So if you would like to connect this domain controller from any user or client machine on your domain, you would be able to put your RDP, remote desktop management tool, and once this is enabled, you would be able to access this. So allow remote connection to this computer, connection only from computer running remote desktop with network level authentication. And then if you want to provide a specific access to a user, you just need to add a user here and they would be able to access it. So we will discuss further in our further videos. So that's done. Now we will go ahead and configure DHCP. So DHCP, let me expand this. IPv4, and we can see there's no scope. So we will add a new scope here and call it servers. So all our servers will be on this range, 172.20.20 20.20.1 and end of IP would be 172.20.20.10. So let's suppose if we have 10 servers, they all will be in this range. Excuse the IP address that we don't need. The DHCP server does not have to assign to anyone. So these are the IP addresses that we would like to exclude, which is our domain controller. So 172.20.20.5 and end of IP is 172.20.20.5. So this address is excluded. So we could have say like 10. So the excluded address would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So at the moment we have already a static IP assigned to this system. So we have just excluded that and click next, next. And yes, I want to configure this option now. We say yes. And the default gateway, the router IP address is 172. I would like to configure this now, 20.20.1. Next. So now we would like to see if our DNS is resolving the IP address or not. So remove this, and now we would like to see if our DNS find our host. So DC01 is our host, .project.local is our domain controller. So resolve. So we can see our DNS is working fine and it is finding the IP address of this host. 8. Click next. Now we need to see if our DHCP is finding this. So click 172.20.20.5 and click 8. Click next. Activate. Yes. Finish. So this range is created for the servers, and this is excluded, and this is the range. We will create another scope for workstations. So click next. One 172.20.20.11, 172.20.20.254, and subnet mask is 255.255.255. Click next. Sorry, we need to define a different scope. 21. And we do not want to exclude any IP. Next. Yes. Next. Finish. That's it. So these are the two scopes that we have on different range. So 21 is our server LAN, and 20 is our workstation, 21 is our workstation LAN, and 20 is our server LAN. So that's how our DHCP is configured. In our next video, we will configure Windows deployment server, and we will join a client computer on our domain. So in our next video, what we're going to do, we will create Windows deployment service, and through Windows deployment service, we will deploy a client, and then we will join that client on our domain server.